Tonight, inside the Sydney siege, harrowing detail about how the two hostages died. Tea and cake, then a deadly takeover, the gunman's chilling plan of attack. Also tonight, ministers rally round to defend an embattled Prime Minister. A congregation in shock as a vandal desecrates a church in Punchbowl. And fond memories of one of the great names of Australian sport.
This is 9 News with Peter Overton.
Good evening. 6 weeks after the siege that claimed the lives of Tory Johnson and Katrina Dawson, the raw and shocking details of their final hours have been revealed. The inquest into their deaths, hearing for the first time the official account of that day, and disturbing revelations about the man who walked into the Lindt Cafe, ordered cake and tea, and then unleashed his murderous terror.
Silence, please, all stand.
One of the rare times cameras have been allowed into the coroner's court, a mark of how the siege touched Sydney and of the important issues this inquest will seek to unravel.
The explosive climax of the siege must have made manifold the grief of the families of the hostages who died. To them I offer my most sincere and deep sympathy. Rarely have such horrifying events unfolded so publicly.
Jeremy Gormley is the lawyer assisting the coroner.
The siege has had ramifications beyond the place and time of its occurrence, and the siege seemed to break its way into the intimacy of Sydney life, daily Sydney life.
Watching it all in court, relatives of Tory Johnson, the cafe manager shot by Man Monis, revealed for the first time the fact that towards the end of the siege, Monis made Tory kneel on the floor of the cafe.
After a short lapse of time, Mr. Monis simply shot him without further notice or warning in the back of the head.
A police marksman witnessed the shooting, called it in, prompting officers to storm the cafe. The deafening sound was largely due to distractors, often known as flashbangs. They are explosives that made 99 sounds of gunfire and flashes of light.
They have the effect of stunning and distracting, but can also sound like there is a hail of bullets being fired from guns.
On top of that, 22 shots were fired by police. Monis was killed instantly by at least 2 bullets to the head. Another 11 hit him in the body. Katrina Dawson couldn't escape the barrage of bullets.
Ms. Dawson was struck by 6 fragments of a police bullet or bullets, which ricocheted from hard surfaces into her body.
1 bullet fragment hit a major blood vessel. Ms. Dawson died shortly afterwards. 82-year-old John O'Brien was the only hostage to attend the hearing.
John, were you a little bit upset by the details that you heard there?
It was upsetting, very upsetting, for Tory Johnson's family who were sitting in there, and very emotional again. But that's all I'd like to say.
When Man Monis entered the Lindt Cafe, he was hiding a sawn-off shotgun. He sat down and calmly ordered a piece of chocolate cake and a cup of tea. A short time later, Monis moved to a table which was close to the back doors, where he had a view of the entire cafe. It was there he spoke to manager Tory Johnson. Staff could tell Tory was stressed by what he was being told. Tory turned to a colleague and said, "I need you to get my keys from the office and lock the doors. We're closed. Everything is okay. Tell the staff to be calm." Soon after, Monis forced Tory Johnson to phone 000 and say, "Australia is under attack by Islamic State. There are bombs in Martin Place, Circular Quay and George Street." That claim turned out to be false.
During the course of the siege, he said he would shoot people for various reasons. For example, that if he did so, he'd be taken seriously.
It might be early days in the investigation, but what we do know is that Monis fired off a total of 5 shots from a sawn-off pump-action shotgun, and that includes the shot that killed Tory Johnson. He also had another 21 shotgun cartridges in his backpack. In the coming months, the inquest will rake over the police action. Could it have been handled better? To help the coroner, UK police with expertise in siege management will give their view of how New South Wales police responded. The inquest will hear from hostages and from the officers who shot Monis. There is no indication of when it will resume or how long it will run.
It will strive to establish what happened, why it happened, and whether it could have been prevented or responded to more effectively. Would any reforms reduce the likelihood of a recurrence?
It will be one of the state's most far-reaching inquests, and as today proved, one of the more painful. Mark Burroughs, 9 News.
Reporter Laura Tunstall is in Martin Place tonight. Laura, there's a mountain of evidence for police to go through.
There sure is, Pete. Today we learnt that there was no fixed camera inside the Lindt Cafe, but that police have been able to seize CCTV from surrounding businesses in Martin Place. They also have audio recordings from inside the Lindt Cafe. Other evidence that will be tendered will be social media posts from the hostages, as well as emails and recorded telephone conversations. The court heard today that during the siege, more than 300 phone calls were made to 000. There's also been detailed forensic analysis made both inside the Lindt Cafe and also outside where each police marksman stood. There certainly is a lot of evidence and it is expected to take some time to sift through it all, Pete.
OK, Laura, thank you. Mark Burroughs joins me now in the studio. Mark, good evening to you. Still so much work to be done.
Good evening, Peter. Today we got a sense of the enormity of this investigation and the work that's already been done. They have made a 3D reconstruction of inside the Lindt Cafe, and that shows where the hostages were, where the police were, and where all the different bullet patterns were sprayed about. So a lot of work's already been done. 30 detectives are working on this case, as well as other police and experts. Now, to those people who will say it's a case of police investigating police, the counsel assisting says that the police investigating won't have any hesitation bringing down an adverse finding against police if necessary. And as well, remember, there will be that independent report by the UK experts.
All right, Mark, thank you.